Hernia, complications, inflammation, reducibility, obstruction, or strangulation, interstitial reduction, hernia in sac, hydrocelohernial sac, and trauma, whether accidental or iatrogenic. Irreducibility. Causes of irreducibility might be one of two: the presence of a tight ring or content adhesions with the hernial sac. The obstruction caused by tight ring leading to mechanical occlusion of the lumen of the gut, intestinal obstruction. There is another step peristaltic waves apparent in that baby and the operative X-ray for the obstructed loops of intestine. Uh, a, a baby having severe pain with and irritability with the vigorous peristaltic waves in the ladder step pattern. Plain X-ray showing multiple fluid levels, gas fluid levels, low intestinal obstruction, and the colonic obstruction, the shadow of gas through the colon, low small intestinal obstruction, and colonic obstruction. Strangulation caused by tight ring leading to mechanical obstruction of the blood supply of the herniating part, ending in gangrene. Photographs of gangrene. All cases of strangulation have intestinal obstruction, except cases of Richter's hernia or omentocele. Richter's hernia. Richter's hernia is partial strangulation of the anti-mesenteric wall of the gut loop. The drawing and the operative photograph. Meidel's hernia. It is a hernia presenting clinically by manifestations of strangulation. On surgical exploration, two non-gangrenous loops of gut are present at the hernial sac. A deep gut loop in between the two apparently normal gut loops is truly gangrenous, deep in the abdomen. The drawing showing that. Hydrocele of hernial sac. The hernial sac containing fluid only after reduction of its contents and sealing of its inlet by adhesions. Hydrocele of hernial sac. The impulse on coughing. During coughing, there is increased intraperitoneal pressure. Feeling of the cough impulse in the hernial sac cavity means that there is a patent pathway between the general peritoneal cavity and the hernial sac cavity. Absence of the cough impulse in the hernial sac cavity means that there is no patent pathway between the general peritoneal cavity and the hernial sac cavity. Absence of the patent pathway between the general peritoneal cavity and the hernial sac cavity means that the presence of a tight compression isolating both cavities from each other. This means the occlusion of the blood vessels supplying the contents of the hernia. This means strangulation. The possibilities of the impulse on cough. Felt cough impulse or absent cough impulse. The felt means non-complicated hernia or irreducible hernia or obstructed hernia. In these three conditions, we feel the cough impulse. Absent cuff impulse occur in two conditions only, either strangulated hernia or case of hydrocele of hernial sac. The earliest manifestation of intestinal obstruction, perfect clinicians don't delay in diagnosing intestinal obstruction. Delay in diagnosing intestinal obstruction increases the risk of mortality and or morbidity. The earliest manifestation of intestinal obstruction is the absolute constipation. Absolute constipation is a symptom, not a sign. Absolute constipation means no passage of stools and no passage of flatus. Waiting for development of signs of intestinal obstruction causes the patient's mortality and or morbidity. Clinical differentiation: the complication, the reducibility, the absolute constipation, and the impulse on coughing. The irreducible hernia is irreducible. No absolute constipation and impulse on cough is present. The obstructed hernia, it is irreducible also. There is absolute constipation present. Impulse on cough is present also. The strangulated hernia is reducibility, it is irreducible. Absolute constipation, present absolute constipation. Impulse on cough, absent impulse on cough. Hydrocele of hernial sac, reducibility, it is irreducible. Absolute constipation, no absolute constipation. Impulse on coughing, absent impulse on coughing. Sliding hernia. Sliding hernia is to have protrusion of extra peritoneal structure, like the colon or the urinary bladder in the hernial sac. Hernial sac neck is drawing for the sliding hernia. Pure sliding hernia and pure non-sliding hernia. The pure sliding hernia could be combined sliding and non-sliding on herniation of an intraperitoneal content. And the pure non-sliding hernia also could be combined sliding and sliding on herniation of extraperitoneal. This takes intraperitoneal, this takes extraperitoneal. The hernial sac is empty in pure sliding hernia. In pure non-sliding hernia, the hernial sac is full. The pure sliding hernia is difficult intraoperative reduction because the structures are extraperitoneal and need deperotonization. But in pure non-sliding hernia, it is easier to do intraoperative reduction. No need for deperotonization. Also, the complication rate is high with pure sliding hernia and low with pure non-sliding hernia. This is the sliding hernia. The sliding hernia. Precautions of sliding hernia. Opening the hernial sac should be done at the parietal layer of the peritoneum only. Opening the hernial sac through the visceral part will lead to trauma to the herniating structure. Transfixial ligation of the hernial sac at its neck injures the sliding organ. Good luck and best wishes.